Welcome to Ellefluential. I'm Elle Salagaris, and welcome to the podcast where we go behind the scenes of life, relationships, beauty, and everything in between. Join me as we get a little bit bougie, talk with people I can't wait for you to meet, and share some fun and laughs together. Coming up on this episode, how to end things with a married man with 3 kids even though he's in love with me. This better not be my husband. Let's jump into it. Hi guys, and welcome to Ellefluential After Dark. This was my idea to do something a little bit more sexy, a little bit more moody, a little bit more vibey. I have this app that I recently downloaded and it's called NGL, and I think it stands for Not Gonna Lie, but it basically allows you to ask me anonymous questions. And I did maybe one stint of answering the questions anonymously on Instagram before I was like, okay, I need to bring this to the podcast because it is something about people having it be anonymous. It gets so juicy. So I thought, okay, we need like a little dark mood. We're going to have like a little drink together, so get yourself a little cocktail or get yourself a little mocktail, have a little drink with me, and let's answer some really, really juicy anonymous questions. Oh my God, guys, we're starting off really strong. I think they're going to get really sexual. I'm actually a little bit concerned. The first one is oh my God. The first one is, does your husband make you finish? Yes, ladies, my husband and I have been together for 8 years. And if your husband doesn't, then I think you need to maybe do some serious work on that and like have him listen to Call Her Daddy or like send him off to some kind of like, I think there's like sexologists and stuff that can help you. One of my friends actually, Chantel, if you look her up, I think it's her is Chantel Otten Sexologist, and she is actually this like incredible sexologist who has like all of these amazing tips and tricks and ideas. And I actually put her as one of my dream guests on the podcast, and she said that she would come on. So we need to coordinate that the next time that she's in Sydney. But yes, he actually is the only man who ever has. I didn't even know that was a thing. Obviously, I met my husband at like 21. I think that's something that's so common with girls, is that like usually you don't from a man. And like I know like women who go until they're like 25, 30 and like they've never like finished in their life. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like it's such a thing with society that like people only care about the man. Like it's just such a misogynistic thing. And it's like every single time like he has to. Like what about us? Anyways, that's my stance on that. But we'll keep going. God, I knew these were going to be good, and they are really good. Okay. You said your husband is obsessed with you. How do I make mine obsessed too? Okay, I'm going to give my most realistic tips on this. And I think the key in honestly like trying to capture as much of your husband's attention as possible and your partner's attention as possible, and try and like to keep them really intrigued with you and everything, is to just keep them on their toes a little bit. I think you need to have your own life. You need to have your own friends going on. You need to be kind of like running out. You need to be getting glammed up and going out on the town with your friends. Keep putting effort into yourself always, and effort into the relationship. Listen to Call Her Daddy. Always put effort into the bedroom, put effort into going on dates. So, and when you go on dates, like treat it like you're dating someone for the first time. So like wear your most glamorous outfit, like really want to feel good about yourself, and then make sure that you're not taking a backseat to his life. So you want to kind of keep him always engaged and always chasing after you a little bit. I think some men have it in them to be obsessive and persistent, and some men just don't. But also, I guess it depends on the woman. So I think if you're giving all of that and he's not giving it back to you, he might just either not be the one, he's not the one capable of doing it, or maybe you're not his. I have this dream girl theory where like a man will do that for his theoretical dream girl. Okay, next one. Are you medicated for your bipolar? Jesus Christ. Okay, so I had to come off of my medications for my bipolar during my third pregnancy because you can't take the medications that I was taking while you're pregnant. And I'm only just now kind of getting back into seeing a psychiatrist and getting back onto medications. But yes, I think like my advice for that is you have to be medicated for bipolar, and bipolar is a chemical imbalance in the brain and it is only solved by medication. So don't try and solve it without it. Honestly, I think everyone needs therapy and everyone needs even a psychiatrist at this stage, but definitely everyone needs therapy. That's for sure. Let's keep going. These are really, really juicy. What steps do you take / what things do you do to actually manifest what you want on a day-to-day basis? So I love manifesting. I feel like I go about manifesting different to other people. I just talk about things in a way that they're already going to happen. So the key to manifesting is to not say that like, I think this is going to happen or I hope this is going to happen. You just say, this is happening. This is 100% happening. And like, this is going to happen in 2 years. And like, when I think about the podcast, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to be doing that. And anything in your life, you have to just start talking about it like it is 100% happening. And I think you put that energy out there and you get that energy right back. How do you feel about prenups? Oh my God. Okay. This is a very controversial opinion of mine, but I don't believe in prenups. And I honestly think it's some backwards way where somehow like men have convinced women, like they've almost gaslit women into thinking that prenups are a good idea on their end. Like, because now you see women pushing for prenups and women saying that it's a good idea. If you are a woman and you're a boss babe and you earn your own money and you're doing better than your man, then I absolutely agree with a prenup. But if you are a stay-at-home mom and you don't work and you give up a career to support your man, do not sign a prenup. You will always, always, always do better without one. Oh, wow. Do you ever look at other men and feel sexual tension? Has there ever been a time when you've wanted to sleep with another man whilst being married? Obviously not acting on it, but had the thought. You guys, I feel like, is anyone else a Swiftie? This is like the song Guilty as Sin. I think there's a difference between feeling attraction towards something, finding someone else attractive, and then actually wanting to act on trying to pursue that. I have a lot more of a realistic view on human nature, I think, in the way that I think if you're together with someone for so long and you're married and you're together for 50, 60 years, I think it's like pretty unrealistic to sit and say that you're never going to be attracted to anyone else and that you're never going to feel a connection with someone else. And I think it's all about how you act on that. So even for me, so I'm bisexual and I like girls. So sometimes, and this doesn't happen to me very often, but if I meet a girl and like we start a friendship or something and I realize that like I'm actually attracted to her, I will stop being friends with her. And it's kind of hard because I can't really explain why. I mean, maybe I could, but like for me, I just kind of like fade the friendship out or like kind of stop responding. So if you're a really pretty girl and you and I kind of like hit it off and then I started ignoring you, it's probably because I was attracted to you. Because out of respect for my husband, I then won't be friends with that girl. And same thing. So you meet someone out, like if I see a guy out and I think he's really attractive, I'm not going to then, like start up a friendship. I also don't believe in having guy friends. He doesn't have female friends. I think it works for some people and it like works for some other people. But I've personally, this is going to sound really dickhead of me, but I don't think I've ever had a guy friend who hasn't tried or would sleep with me. So I just think you're kind of opening yourself up to that temptation. So as Taylor Swift says, thoughts are fine, actions are not fine. But wow, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Has there ever been, oh my God, has there been any girls that you've been jealous of towards your husband, jealous of his past? Absolutely not. My husband and I are very open with each other about telling each other everything about our past. I've got like girls that are like probably like some of my least favorite ex-girlfriends of his and some of like my more favorite ex-girlfriends of his. And I wouldn't say that I would have any jealousy towards any of them, not in like a shady way. But my husband and I have a very different relationship compared to any relationship he's had with someone in the past. And I just am very confident in knowing that. I also would say I almost have the opposite to where there's one of his exes who's my favorite, and we actually ran into her one time and she was the sweetest girl. And whenever we talk about their relationship, we just always talk about like how sweet she was. And she honestly, I think, was just too nice for him. I hope that she has found her person. I know she really wanted to have kids, and I hope that she's had kids and she's in a happy relationship. And like, we even talk about it with his family sometimes. We're just like, oh, I hope she's doing well. Oh my God. So I've been rewatching Sex and the City, and there was like in one of the first scenes, it was something about how Samantha is probably one of the only women that I know who feels that proximity to beauty actually makes her feel more beautiful. And I don't know if I'm just now rambling and not making sense, but that is literally how I am. Like, I feel like I don't get jealous or insecure by other girls' like looks or beauty or any of their like qualities that they have. I think I almost feel like being around that, like I feel like it almost like I want it to rub off on me. I'm like, come over and like rub off on me. I love having like beautiful friends. I love having friends that I'm proud of, that I want to aspire to. Like, I don't really get that. And I think that comes with, I really do try and be a girl's girl. Like, and I think that's a big part of it. Okay. Love you, Elle. I love you too. How did you know you wanted to discover more into your sexuality? Oh my God. Okay, I'll talk about this because this is funny. So I think because this is very common, I think, for girls, like realizing that you're bisexual. Because I think like growing up as girls, you're always kind of like kissing girls at parties and you always think girls are hot. So like I was always like that growing up. And then one time I remember like I hadn't even been with my husband for that long. I think I was still like 21 or 22 years old. I definitely hadn't gotten pregnant with my first baby yet. And we were at Hemisphere, and I was kind of like noticed this girl from across like the room at Hemisphere, and we were kind of making eyes at each other and like looking at each other and like smiling and stuff. And it was not like in a like, hey girlie, I think you're cute, I like your outfit type of way. It was definitely, or like it was in a way that there was tension, and like we were like flirting with each other. And then I was just like, oh my God, like, am I attracted to girls? And I immediately after that happened went and told my husband about it. And I was like, I think I'm attracted to that girl over there. Like, what do I do? And he was so funny. I think because we hadn't been together that long, he was really supportive about it. And he was like, why don't you go talk to her? So I went up and I was like, I actually came over here to talk to you, like for me. And she was just like, oh, like, thank you. So I think she even did she kiss me? Okay, let's not, I don't know. But something like we had like a cute little moment, and she like took it really receptively, and we followed each other on Instagram. Nothing ever came out of it, obviously. But I think that kind of showed me that like it was a different feeling. It was like that feeling that you have. It was genuine attraction. And so after that, it was like I was already in a relationship. So it's not like I could go out and try and date girls. So I think that is what led into me kind of initiating having a go at threesomes, like genuinely, just so I could see if I was actually attracted to girls. Because also after that, I was like, okay, like I can like kissing girls and I can like doing this, but like I feel like you don't fully know that you're fully bi until you've like actually, you know, like properly hooked up with a girl, like until you've like, you know, gone down and like really been there with a girl. I think like after the first time I did that, I was like, oh yeah. No, I'm gay. I'm definitely bi. Oh, how often do you get properly depressed? So if anyone doesn't know, with bipolar, you have manic episodes and then you have depressive episodes. So you have your manic episodes where you feel like you're on fire. And I want to do a whole like mental health episode. I don't actually get depressed that often. And I think when I do have depressive episodes, that's what makes me actually like reach out to my psychiatrist, seek help, and do something about it, because I think those are the hardest to deal with. When you have the highs, they're actually nice. Like it sounds so bad, but it's like, you feel like you're on a genuine high. Like you don't want to come down from it. So it's when you're in the really depressive lows and you can't function, you can't get out of bed, that you're like, oh my God, okay, maybe I really need to do something about this. But it really doesn't happen to me that often, maybe once every couple months. And it can last anywhere from like 2 days to like 2 weeks. And I think 2 weeks is probably the longest depressive episode I've ever had. Please organize a meetup in Sydney. I'd die if I ran into you at Tanuki. You're so iconic. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with you. Thank you so much. I literally love going to Tanuki, because Tanuki for me is just one big meet and greet. Like literally, like when I go to Tanuki, like I meet so many girls and I love it, because all of the girls that I meet, they're literally just girls that I would be friends with, and we all end up just hanging out. I grab Jung and we do Tanuki shots together. Jung is the manager, by the way. Love you, Jung. Shout out. The best place to meet me is at Tanuki on a Friday or a Saturday night out. But I really should do, I wonder if they would be down. Maybe I should reach out and tell Tanuki that like I should do like some kind of proper Elle meetup. Oh my God, someone said favorite position. Missionary. I feel like that's low-key like every girl's favorite position. Hailey Bieber came on and said that her favorite position was doggy. I'm sorry, Hailey Bieber, you are lying. You are lying. Like there's no way. I refuse. I love Hailey Bieber, by the way. Love Hailey Bieber. Congratulations on the baby. But you are so lying. Like there's no way. Least favorite eastern suburbs area because of the people in it. Guys, I'm not here to slander people. I don't have a least favorite eastern suburbs area because of the people in it, because no. But if I just had to pick my least favorite area of the eastern suburbs, honestly, I'm really not a Bondi girly. Like, I don't know. I love the inner city. I love like Paddington, Woollahra, all of that area. I think Vaucluse for me is just a little bit far away. Like it's a little bit of a bubble. There's also not really anything to do there. I feel like if you're in Vaucluse, it takes you 30 minutes to get to the city. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not really a Bondi girly. And I feel like that's a really controversial opinion. Also because I casted for Made in Bondi for someone who doesn't even really like Bondi. How many guys did you sleep with before meeting your husband, and how many's too many? Guys, I actually was a very late bloomer. So I didn't kiss a boy until I was 16, and I didn't sleep with a boy until I was 18. So I dated a guy for like 8 months. I dated another guy for like 6 months or something. I moved here. I dated someone for a year, and then I met my husband at 21. So I don't know. I think my count is probably maybe lower than people might think. And how many is too many? I don't think it matters. What I find so weird about this is like, if you can sleep with the same person, someone who is in a relationship is probably having way more sex than someone who's not in a relationship. Like when I went like 8 months without like having any sex, like before I met my husband, kind of like there was this weird in between time where I was single, where I literally was celibate for like 8 months. So I don't really understand like why people care so much, because I honestly think like when you're in a relationship, like it's just because it's one person. Does it make that much of a difference? Like I think people should just be allowed to own their sexualities. What's the worst thing about your parenting that someone has ever said to you? That I don't do any parenting. This is so, I think because I don't show my kids online and I don't blast all over the internet every single time I hang out with them. Unless you're on my close friends, you see how much time I spend with my kids. But I don't post my kids online because I feel very strongly about not posting your kids online. I feel very strongly about not exploiting your children for content and for social media content. So, and I also do like to perpetuate like the Eastern Suburbs mum character of not parenting. Like it's definitely a part of the whole shtick of like, you know, not being a parenting and having 1,000 nannies and stuff. And I did have a live-in nanny who moved in when my third baby was born, and she's just moved out. And so now I just kind of have a regular nanny and a bit more regular help. But I'm also working like part-time, at least part-time job hours now. When my eldest was, I can't remember what age she got to, but I had a nanny come 1 day a week and help me for like a couple hours. And then whenever I had my second baby, once she turned, I think 1, I put them both in daycare for like 2 days a week. So I could get 2 days a week to like catch up on all the housework, do appointments, things like that. And then other than that, like I did everything myself and I still spend a ton of time with my kids. So basically like I have like 3 days a week where I get to, in between, because I still do school drop off and school pickup, where I get to get my appointments done, get work done, things like that. And also because I don't ever usually explain myself like this, I think like if someone comes on one of my social medias or someone on TikTok is like, do you do any parenting or blah, blah, you don't do any parenting, I'll just be like, nah. This is fun. This is really fun. No shade. I love when people start things with no shade because you just know that they're about to shade like they're just about to shade you so hard. Okay. Now that the girls are getting older, do you think that they will ever wonder why you go out so much? I know you say they're asleep, but they would see you getting ready and know you're going out a lot. Do you wonder if it will affect them? I actually think it's good, guys, if my children see that it's okay to have a life. I think like showing them that like valuing your relationships with your girlfriends and valuing, you know, having fun and like going out with friends and like trying new restaurants and going on date nights with your hubby, like that's an example that I want to set for my kids. I don't want to live vicariously through my children. I don't want my kids to think that you have to give up your whole life to have kids and sit at home 24/7 and be miserable. They don't need to know that like if they're asleep that I'm like there every single night. It's not like I go out every single night of the week. It's because like you guys might see me if I try and do lives, like if I'm getting ready or something, or like you see me posting when I'm going out because that's interesting content. I'm not posting when I'm home with my kids because I don't post when I'm home with my kids. So I think that, yeah, like that's the example that I would want to set. Go out with your girlfriends, have fun. Your life doesn't end. I'm 28 years old, guys. No, I don't think that will affect them. I think in 10 years, they're going to be going out way more than I'm going out. How to keep the spark alive after years together, and have you lost it and found it again? I think dating is so important, like dating your husband, trying to go on regular date nights. We try and do, I think if you can't do weekly is really unrealistic for a lot of people. So I wouldn't necessarily say that like you have to do weekly, but even if you can do fortnightly, anything you can do, get dressed up, you know, make it a thing. I think role playing is really fun. I think like do a staycation together. Something about being in a hotel room just like immediately ups the vibes. I love it. Like if you can, but this is obviously hard to get away with kids. If you have parents that can help you and stuff like that, there's ways to spice it up that is a lot more simple than you think. I think it's like it can even come down to just like put on a really, really sexy dress and heels and go out to a really nice restaurant together and just have like get that spark back, get that tension back, you know, like have a couple martinis or, you know, mocktails if you're not into drinking. But yeah, I think we overcomplicate it. Were you always as confident as you are now? If not, what did you do to gain the confidence you currently have? Love it. Yes, weirdly, I don't know if it's because like I'm an only child or where it came from or if it came from my mum. I think my mum has always really like bigged me up. She's always just like absolutely just told me I was always the most gorgeous girl in the world, the most beautiful girl. Like she's always just told me that like I can achieve anything I want, that I'm a superstar, that I'm like the best at anything. I think like growing up, my mum just instilled this insane level of confidence in me. And then, because I always remember in high school just being super confident, like just irrationally confident. And then obviously then moving into being bipolar, which gives you just absolute like grandiose self and like Kanye level confidence. But I think it's just something, I think if you put out that you're confident, you just have to start telling yourself that. It's the same thing with manifesting. If you just start saying, I'm confident, and start like bigging yourself up. Be nice to yourself. Big yourself up. Tell yourself you look hot. Just be like, I'm a confident person. And that energy will start to just become reality. Ooh, this is a good one. What would you do if your fiance of 7 years is boring in bed? I'm wanting more fun and adventure and he's bad. Listen to the OG Call Her Daddy episodes, or like go on and like watch adult movies together. Like, would he be open to that? Or what else could you do? Like, you could go to like, one of those like special clubs. Could you take him to a strip club together? Like, that could be fun. Like, maybe just like ease him into like little things that kind of explore your sexuality together, spicing things up. Would he do a role play? Is it that he's bad and he has no interest in getting better? Or is it that like he's bad and he's just inexperienced and he doesn't know what to do? Because I think those are two very different things. What are my thoughts on once a cheater, always a cheater? I actually disagree with this. I have a lot of space for people making mistakes and people being human. Cheating is put so much higher than anything else. I think in terms of like anything wrong that you can do in a marriage or in a relationship, it's like you can be caught for like financial fraud and go to jail, and like the woman will sit there and like stay the whole time he's in jail. But like if anything happens, or if like the woman cheats, it's like she's disgusting. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think if you want to overcome things, you can. I think you can make mistakes once and not repeat them. I do think there are just serial cheaters who can't be helped, and I think it's like a psychological issue, and I think they need therapy and they need help, and it's something more to do with them. But I don't know. I think like a one-time thing, I don't know. I think you can not repeat mistakes. But if your man cheats on you like 5, 6 times, and then maybe that's when we're heading into once a cheater, always a cheater territory. I think it's like thrice a cheater, always a cheater, quadruple a cheater, 5 times a cheater, always a cheater. Once a cheater, counseling. Oh my God, this one's really good. Oh my God. How to end things with a married man with 3 kids, even though he's in love with me. Is this better not be my husband? I know they never leave. I didn't know he was married. Now I'm 4 months in and he made a comment that really scared me. He's like, I can't wait to get you pregnant. I'll buy you an apartment in Double Bay and you'll be sorted. I want to say this with love, okay? Like I'm going to hold your hand. While I tell you this, okay? I love you. And I'm going to hold your hand and just block his number, okay? This is like, trust me, you don't want this. Like, no. No. Would you recommend being a young mum? I'm 24 and want 5 babies. Is it too late to start at 27? No, I don't think so. I have absolutely loved being a young mum. I think it's been amazing. I love having that close age gap with my kids. I kind of feel like we get to grow up together, and I really love that. And I think I have a lot more patience. And also I remember a lot what it was like to be at that age. So I can really remember how I felt when I was like 3, 4, 5, and how my parents made me feel and things that they did. And that has definitely impacted how I parent, like just by remembering like how, like if I was ever like very invalidated by my parents. So that's one thing that I take into parenting, is always trying to really validate my kids. I think your body snaps back, like you have more energy. I don't know. I love being a young mom, but I think have kids at any age. Like, you do you. I've also given up a lot of my 20s to have kids young. And so I look at a lot of my friends who don't have kids and like who are off in like having the best time in Euro summer, on like giant yachts and stuff and like shaking their booties around. And, I'm like, maybe it would have been nice to wait until my 30s. So I think there's pros and cons to each. And I think if you want to be a young mom, just make sure that you have a stable, financially stable partner, or you're financially stable, and just make sure you have all your ducks in a row so that you actually can do it. You don't want to just be like popping out kids with no plan, okay? So just if you've got all your ducks in a row, you've got everything set up, you're stable, everything. I love being a young mom. I think it's great. So advice for girls in high school. I'm going to keep this a little bit short because I could yap about this forever, but my best advice for girls in high school is not everything. Genuinely try and be nice to everyone. When I think back to high school and I think about the girls who were the most popular and I think about the most popular girls in school and what they were doing, they were always the ones who were just nice. They were the ones who were being nice to everyone, who were putting effort into their friendship. Try and not get into too much drama because that is just all the cyberbullying and having to deal with Instagram. I really feel for you guys because that wasn't really as much of a thing when I was in high school. And I'm really scared for my girls to have to go through that. So, just watch what you say. Don't send any nude photos to boys, okay? Because they're going to show everyone. Okay. Can you confirm whether you divorced from your maid of honor? Can you share that story? Friendship breakups are the worst. Any advice? Yes, I did have a really big friendship breakup and I think my opinion on it over the years have changed so much. So her and I became best friends when we were 19 years old. She was the very first friend that I made when I moved here from Australia. And at the time of our friendship breakup, we were both going through a lot. She was going through a really messy breakup with her boyfriend. And I won't get too much into that, but he was being really, really, really toxic to her. And I think she was going through a lot. That was at the point where I talked about my husband and I were at our lowest. Their relationship ended. And also she saw a lot of my best sides, but she also saw a lot of my worst sides. So I had undiagnosed bipolar that really started raging in COVID. So during COVID, my bipolar just got triggered so badly. I think I put them through a lot and I acted really badly. Do I also think that she acted really badly? Yes. I think she handled it really. I think she'd probably just let everything bottle up. And then one night she just went absolutely ballistic at me. And I remember at first responding and being I'm not going to take this personally. I know that you're going through a lot. I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. Until the point that I just got triggered so much that I started going ballistic back at her. And then she kind of just blocked me on everything and didn't speak to me for 6 months. Once it gets to that point, and I think after the 6 months, she messaged me and she was and her message was so cold as well. It wasn't even she came back with it was so emotionless. And it's just, she came back and she was hey, I'm ready to talk. Suggest we could grab a couple bottles of wine and talk things out. All good if not. I don't even think I responded, but I remember just being okay, all good if not, then not, babe. Fuck. I look back on that friendship, but I look back on and I can actually understand why she walked away. And I no longer resent her for walking away from our friendship. And I think, it was toxic and I think it's okay to walk away from toxic friends. And I have now been her in that situation. So I think I can understand kind of where she was coming from and I see it a lot differently now. I think people have kind of worked out who it was and I think that's going to happen. And I also just want to say in those moments, just respect, especially in that moment, I would like her privacy respected. If you do manage to figure out who it was, there's no point reaching out to her or anything like that. But with that being said, guys, this was our first Ellefluential After Dark. If you liked this episode, let me know because I would love to do this as a regular series. I had so much fun doing this. I'll hopefully catch you on the next episode of Ellefluential After Dark. Mwah. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Ellefluential. If you're enjoying the show, hit the follow for future episodes. Plus, you can find me on socials. I'm at Elle_Eastern Suburbs Mum on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm Elle Salagaris on YouTube. XOXO, Elle.